Hey guys, this is Heather Biederman for Liberty Librarian. How you doing today? I have had just what a day. It snowed a bunch here in Minnesota, so I went to work today is like one of my days that I will go in, and oh man, it didn't snow when I was going to work, but when I got out, my car was just covered in snow. And there's about an hour between when I leave there and I get home to do the show, and I was busting my butt to get here. So I am happy to have made it. It is a good thing to be able to spend time with y'all. So this week I was thinking about what are fun things that I enjoy. I know last night Kara and I were talking about the crazy pants rules of all these government groups that are trying to make it so they're trying to keep us safe, but it's bizarre. And that kind of got me down feeling when I was, we got done with the show and I was just thinking, oh, we live in the weirdest timeline, don't we? So I was thinking about what do I do for fun? Hey, I never did put my banner up. Hey, Liberty Librarian, that's me, right? Right. And hello, TLO. They're trying to cancel Thanksgiving. Oh my God, right? This is the stuff that was just making me nuts. And, I love Thanksgiving. I love turkey and I love all the food. I even love canberry. It's like that canned cranberry stuff. I mean, I eat it all. I love mashed potatoes like a crazy person. Stuffing is okay. I mean, like, I love it all. There's so much weird food that I will eat just because I love Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is a kind of holiday where you are thankful, show your like how much you love your family, you spend time together, you eat lots of delicious food, but it's more about spending time with the people you love. And they're trying to cancel it, and that is a really hard thing for me to accept. I know it's for our safety, but Jesus, I know that they're making these rules very unreasonable and in a way that people aren't going to comply with. Some of you out there are gonna. I mean, I know, like, you may not ever go see your family anyway, so you're like, that's nothing different. But can you imagine somebody who has like 12 kids and they're all married and they have kids and there's grandchildren and great grandchildren? It's this is the truth. If you all want to gather, here are my tips. I'm not saying these are theoretical tips. I'm not telling you to go out and do this. I'm just saying if you wanted to, theoretically, you could get a Faraday bag. Those are the little, oh, my mailman just came. They're little bags that you put your cell phone in, shut it up tight, and it blocks the signal. Very smart if somebody wanted to not have tracking. Tracking is what they're going to be doing a lot of during the holidays. And not just the holidays. They're trying to limit in my state, Minnesota, and your state, TLO of Minneapolis, that they are trying to make you can't have private parties of 10 people or more. And if you do have a private party of less than 10 people, it has to be from, they can only be from up to 3 households. So you can't have more than that. And you can't play darts for the love of God. You can't play pool. You can't dance, except chair dancing, like Kara and I were doing last night. Chair dancing is all you can really do. So, hi, Ginger. Nice to see you. Wonderful. And that's how they're tracking us here. Yep. So, you want to make sure that your cell phones, at the very least, turn them off and leave them at home. If you get a Faraday bag, they have them on Amazon. Order it now. Thank you, Ginger. I look skinny. I'm just going to put aside that they're trying to castrate humanity. Okay, first, one thing at a time. Thank you. I've been dieting and watching my health and trying to be really good. It's very tough, especially with Thanksgiving coming up. I might like let it slide a little for Thanksgiving because it's one of my most favorite holidays, and they're not taking that away from me. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might have to go sit in the basement somewhere and hide, like we're in a war or something, like War of the Worlds. The aliens are coming to look for you. But thank you. I've been trying really hard. I can see it more in my face. That's one of the things. The last thing to go will be the tummy, but I'm working on it. Thank you. Yes. Are they trying to castrate humanity? Yes, they are. Everything that is lovely and good in the world, they are trying to take all the joy out, suck it out like a big vampire. Yes, definitely turn off the location on your phone. Probably, just turn off your whole phone. I mean, you're spending time with your family anyway, slightly illegally. Turn it off. Be on good terms with your neighbors. If your neighbors are friends with you, they're likely not going to turn you into the police. In our state of Minnesota, I think if you have a gathering of more than 10 people with multiple families, it's like a 90-day jail sentence and up to $900 in fines. I'm like, what a bunch of shit. I just want to see my grandma. I just want to see my parents. Like, what the hell? And well, definitely they're not having any family reunions, eh? No. So yeah, that's been kind of bugging me. Like other things that you can do, be on good terms with your neighbors. If you aren't, snitches get stitches. You're not going to be on good terms with your neighbors if they find out that you turn them in and their family in, because people will never be more angry at you than if you put their family in harm's way, or if you make them choose to not see their family, because family gatherings are a big part of life. And like some of us have older people in our family, and the older they get, the more precious time is. So don't F with Thanksgiving, don't F with Christmas, for God's sakes, and don't F with like birthdays and that kind of thing, because people need to celebrate life. And this is the government's way of taking all of that away. Now, one thing that was really interesting last night in our Sweet Subversive show is we talked about how in the military, because yesterday was Veterans Day, that they don't make rules that people will try to break, because and they have to be in a reasonable way. Yes, and you think of the military as being very regimented and lots of rules, but if it's something that's very ridiculous and they know everyone's going to break it, once you break one rule, the next rule is going to get easier and easier to break. So the government is really actually setting themselves up for failure, because you have something big like Thanksgiving and everybody just breaks it so they can go and hang out with their friends and families. What's the next thing that they're going to go against? I mean, I'm not saying that it's totally going to happen, but it's probably totally going to happen that lots and lots and lots of people are going to have gatherings, despite the fact that they're saying they're going to fine people. And what cops are going to want to drive around looking for family parties so they can go arrest grandma? I just don't see this being a smart thing that any government should do. And the prediction is that not only will this be the thing, but they want to have more strict restrictions, especially in my state of Minnesota, for the next holiday, which will be Christmas. And, I think if you take that away from people, I think maybe riots, but I think that people are going to just flagrantly oppose it in such a way that they're not going to do it. I believe that. So it's like, I like this. How the F did we get to new criminal is someone who spends time with their families? I know, like you're in jail. Everybody's sitting around. What you in for? I had Thanksgiving at my house and there was more than 10 people. Like, really? Really? Yeah, it's like, people even taking a step back and listening to what we're being told. We have phone lines to report people breaking code rules. Very similar to reporting on people hiding Jews some time ago. Absolutely right. There is no good and positive reason to turn in your neighbors for spending time with their loved ones. People make choices, and you're not like, okay, here is the logic. They're treating it like everyone who's out there has COVID now. A lot of people are going to probably go get tested before they have Thanksgiving. It's an idea. And, like your whole family can be healthy. What difference does it make if you are all, like you have 50 people in your family and all of you have been tested and you don't have COVID? It doesn't matter in their rules. Their rules are so specific and made in a way that no one can comply with them. Yes. Yes, I like that. Have Thanksgiving in the attic. Journal about it. So true. Like your Anne Frank. I'm the Anne Frank of Thanksgiving. Yeah. I'm like, oh. And it's so sad because we don't learn from history, and people are very happy to become really good statists and turn their neighbors in. And I have my own dilemmas, on top of the fact that, they have these stupid rules. I have older parents now, and my husband has older parents, and they desperately, desperately want to see us. And, we can, it's easy if you separate the families and you do it in smaller groups for us to comply. But what about at Christmas if they cut that in half? It would be almost impossible to comply. And I really can understand the pain that older people in this country are going through. The loneliness. And it is really hard. I can't see how this is a sustainable rule that they can expect people to comply with it. I just don't see how it can happen. And people are already lonely. We need each other. We really do. I follow the rules as best I can, and I tell you, like, I work for a college. I do everything in my power to try to keep students safe, to try to follow those rules, because I like having a job and I like making sure people are healthy. But this is too far. This whole thing with Thanksgiving, this whole thing with the holidays, they have a bad interpretation of how to protect people. And in my own state, I mentioned this yesterday, is that they're blaming college age kids, and college age kids aren't really gonna get sick and die from COVID. It is the elderly. And so they're saying, oh, well, we got to protect the elderly from the college kids. I honestly believe we all like wear masks as much as we can. Yeah. We wash our hands. We do good health practices. You're going to be pretty safe. We're not going to stop all of it. We're not. Eventually, we are all probably going to get it. I don't know if it's a nice thing to say, rip that Band-Aid off, but do we have to destroy all the holidays for the next 2 years? Do we have to stop living just in case we could stop getting sick? It seems funny that they put a lot of hope. Oh, yeah. Oh, let me tell you, we'll talk about the Ticketmaster thing later. I actually brought that story for Intellectual Freedom News today, too. So, yes, they're going to make you have testing before you can buy tickets, which, okay, there's two things. Number one, testing is not a perfect thing. There are things that can go wrong with it. There's failure rates for every kind of medical test, right? So that we're relying on. Some people get false positives, false negatives. It happens. So that's one thing. But then we have that you're going to have to get vaccinated against it. It's being rushed. It makes me feel very nervous that they're rushing it. They say it had 90%, and that's all everyone heard is like 90%. I'm not going to get sick. It's 90%. Now we're done with it. And everyone who has it is good. Except they like backpedaled and it's actually more like 50%. So not only do the tests aren't accurate, but the vaccine isn't actually 90% effective. So those are the two things I'm most scared of, but three, because I watch a lot of horror movies, if you don't actually make sure a vaccine is safe enough and you haven't gone through testing long enough, you don't know what's going to happen. That's how you get a zombie apocalypse. So I'm not super eager to take a vaccine that hasn't been tested thoroughly, and it is proven to be mostly safe. I mean, everything can go totally wrong in a vaccine anyway. Yes. There's more to living than not dying. Exactly, Tom Woods. Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like back to the Ticketmaster, even as far as printing your COVID status on tickets. You know, it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna have like a tattoo on you or something, that like a barcode, which I think Henry Rollins had on the back of his neck, that they can scan and go, yep, oh, they're up to date on their medical. There should be no reason for any commercial institution like that to have access to any of your medical records. And now they're going to make it even easier than possible. People are going to die, yes. And Ginger, you're right. We have people who are dying of loneliness. And there's always going to be some new big bad out there. You know, I'm not saying don't be afraid of COVID, because it's like pretty terrible. There's a lot of people who've died from it. But do we have to stop the whole world? I feel like this is worse for anyone. Yes, The Walking Dead, right? Right. I just think we need to be thoughtful about it and look at what's best for everyone. Make sure that we're not like gonna like kill us all accidentally by having a bad vaccine. You know, having zombies would be really neat for about a minute, and then you realize, yeah, we're screwed. So yeah, we can't live in fear. We need to move on. So I think that I live in a very afraid state. Minnesota is very, very afraid. And it shakes me every day to see how willing people are to put up with it. And actually, they seem like they enjoy it. And I feel like I'm an outsider lately. And I don't know if you feel that way, but I really don't like that feeling where I'm like, am I the only not crazy person? Why are we all doing this? Why are we all going along with it? You know, and I think in another 10 years, right? Yes. Yes. I think in another 10 years, we'll look back and go, God, what the hell was wrong with everyone? Right? So my segue into the next thing I want to talk about is that I was looking for ways this year that I could escape the dumpster fire that is 2020. Like the fires in Australia and California and Colorado and everywhere, the murder hornets, the hurricane after hurricane after hurricane after hurricane, COVID, like everybody who we love dying. Alex Trebek just died. You know, I mean, it's just like one thing after another, one thing. And I'm like, nope. So my first half of the year was spent eating and drinking, and that didn't do me a lot of good. It actually made me feel worse. I mean, for while I was doing it, it felt great. You know, I love beer and wine and yeah, party. But the parties were depressing because it was mostly at home. And Zoom, drinking with your friends over Zoom is really weird, but it's okay every now and then. But not all the time, because then you start really thinking about the fact that you're just sitting there drinking in your living room, and it kind of feels lame. And Hollywood lost all their marbles. Everybody has lost their marbles. So, you know, and then I started trying to, you know, like after the end of August, early September, I started like working on getting healthier. So working on it. We'll see how it goes. But one of the fun things that I do, and I've always done this, is I play a lot of video games. I don't know if you do, but for me, it's a wonderful escape. And I think all of us need a little bit of escape this year. So I'm going to talk about just a couple of the games that I've been playing and have been playing, and what's coming that I'm excited about. So one of the things that I play and I have played for since about 2007. I'm going to share that with you. Just a little Chrome tab. Let's see. There it is. It's one that I've played the longest is Lord of the Rings Online. It's like an MMO. It's an online MMO. MMORPG. So RPG is a role-playing game online. You make a character. If you ever read the Lord of the Rings or watched the movies, like Frodo and Gandalf and all that, throwing the ring into Mount Doom, spoiler alert. It's a fun freaking game. You can play it for free, I think, up to a certain level. There's a lot of add-ons that, they pay. You can get that stuff. You can get things in the game that you pay for, but really you can play a lot of the game for free. And it's really fun. And even if you have sort of a shitty computer, Lord of the Rings is pretty great because it works on most computers. There's like very low res versions, and it's quite fun. I've been VIP before. I think I turned it off lately just because it's like too much stuff to worry about. But you can like really go to town. I have a warden character in the game that I am up to level 130, and I have gone everywhere. And let me just say, for me, these games, Grand Theft Auto. Yes. Okay. Grand Theft Auto. I'm going to get back to Lord of the Rings, but Grand Theft Auto, all I like to do in Grand Theft Auto is not really actually play the game, but I like to drive around and run over people. So I'm a bad person in it. But it is beautiful. I love the radio in Grand Theft Auto. The songs on it are just perfect. It was so much fun just to drive around and listen to music. So I really didn't accomplish much in it, but I love the gangster mentality. It's so fun. Yes. I think there's a lot of, like cathartic about bombing around Los Santos, right? I think everybody has, like, there's certain games like that where you're like kind of angry at the world and you just like, I want to go shoot shit, or I want to run things over, blow stuff up, and you get all that aggression out of yourself. Now, I remember back in the 80s and 90s, there were all these parents groups that are like, video games are making people violent. I'm like, for me, video games keep me from being violent because it's an outlet. You can sit there and you shoot cool guns and stuff, and you never really have to destroy anything. You can just reset it. You're back to normal. Like it's just such a nice release. And some of the games are just so beautiful. You get so immersed in it. I know I have a lot of friends who play Call of Duty. It's not my thing, but what I love to watch is there's strategy in it, and I think that's neat to watch when you watch people playing against people. There's a huge, yes, we don't need games for people being violent. We just are. People have been violent since the dawn of time. They smack each other for what they want. They, like get angry. But yeah, I mean, we don't need games. I mean, it's every form of expression has some violence in it because we get fed up. We get stressed out. We need to put it somewhere constructive. I mean, some people are like, I can work out and get all my anger out. And that's cool. Like that's a good use of energy. But not everybody likes to do that. Not everybody can do that. So video games are great because it's your brain's way of releasing that pent up, whatever is going wrong inside of you. So yeah, like watching Call of Duty and people like finding ways of like predicting other people's behavior. I like playing against computers because I'm just like, I don't need to fight. I don't want to like do that. No, Halo did not cause the Civil War. Yes, there's not a reason. Yeah, you didn't read a book and go, I should just go screw with people and go start a war. Why not? I'd say if anything's doing it more, it's like news. If they want to point fingers, it just gives people ideas maybe, but not necessarily the drive to do it. All that we need is this tinderbox of society pushing us and making us into little diamonds of explosive energy. Video games aren't making us that way. Actually, most of the most chill people I know are really into video games. So, hello, Total Vagabonds. Nice to see you again. Yes, the news totally does it, especially like if you're looking at like when they have active shooter situations. Usually you get lots of copycats right around the time that you see one. So if you want to blame something, blame the news. Don't blame video games. They have nothing to do with it. Oh yeah. What's with my computer? It doesn't want to turn you off, so I'm gonna let it sit there for a second. I had this problem yesterday too. Here, if I click on somebody else, we'll see. Maybe I just need to. I'll do a share screen. So I'm gonna go back really quick to Lord of the Rings and just see if that'll clear out my problem that I'm having. But Lord of the Rings is such a chill game. Yes, I go around and fight. I play solo a lot. My warden character I chose because I can heal myself. I can go and pretty much do high level DPS. It's damage per second. I can go as a tank, but it's more of a DPS. The way I play, I'm just an explorer. I like doing the stories in the game. I like to, there we go. They're just amazing. I love them. And for me, it's like a big story and you're immersed in it. I love to go visit some of the locations in Lord of the Rings. And that's what's fun. I mean, I used to play World of Warcraft before Lord of the Rings, and I love the world building there. However, a lot of times it's the gamers that can cause me to want to leave. And as a female gamer, when I play World of Warcraft, it was always like a 10-year-old coming up to me going, "You're not really a girl in real life. You're probably an old dude." And I'm like, "I'm a girl, but F off." And sometimes I'd just be like, "Yeah, I'm totally a dude." So they leave me alone. Yeah, yuck. I'm like, they just couldn't believe that girls would play video games. And I just think that's very sad. Hey, Bear, good evening to you. It's so nice to see you. So I've been playing Lord of the Rings since about 2007, I think. And I love the game. I kind of pick it up and put it away, like if I am really busy, I just don't play a lot. But then I'll get into it again and play. Every once in a while, they come up with a new DLC. It's a downloadable content, like an add-on of some sort. So you get a new area. They give you like more leveling cap. Leveling cap means like how high up you can go. And for me, it's just like I'll play a little bit and get bored, go do something else, then come back. But Lord of the Rings is the one I've been playing the longest. So that's pretty fun for me. Another one that I just started playing is, have you guys played Skyrim? I mean, there's so many good games on console. We have Xbox and an older PlayStation. I kind of want to get the new PlayStation too, because there's some games I think would be a lot of fun to play. But on the Xbox right now, I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online, which is also an RPG game. I love those swords and magic kind of games. I just love the fantasy in it all. It's a lot more fun. One of my all-time favorite games was The Witcher 3. And if you, Modern Warfare, that's a fun one. I've played a little bit of that. I've watched people play. I'm not so good at the shooty games. And console, if I get out of practice, I just have to retrain my brain to play on console because I play a lot of PC games. So you get used to a different setup. And I love all the controls on PC. You can really get it to like micromanage everything. It's nuts. Oh, on the Super NES, you played the original. That is so cool. I loved. Oh, my brother actually had the Super NES, and we play that. Oh man, that takes me back. So, what was your first console? What was your first not? Maybe it might not have been a console. What was the first video game that you remember playing? For me, my uncle actually bought Pong, and we played at my grandma's house. I got to see a little bit. I was almost too young to even play it, but plus I'm a little kid. They didn't want me to touch it. It was an expensive video game system, but he showed that off. I remember being jealous. But we had, oh yes, Frogger. I had Atari 2600. We had a Frogger game. We had Super Mario Brothers on that. I got really good at that game. I got to the point where, I wanted the numbers to turn over. So I played it, and you'd have to just put it on, like, you'd pause it, and you'd, like, sit there and wait, and then you get back into it. And I got the numbers to, like, turn over. And I was just like, done with that game. Original Atari, super cool. Pong was awesome. I'm loving it. So yes, Pong, original Atari 2600. We also, my parents, for my mom's work, she got an Apple II Plus, and ColecoVision. I remember those. Nintendo. My brother's was, I think, the first one he really got into was Nintendo too. What was it? The Apple II Plus. We had Oregon Trail. Oh my God, I love that game. That was so fun. I got really good at it. The shooting part where you had it was a green screen. So you'd be like, we're hunting, and there'd be like a little deer, pixelated deer running across the. And I figured out like how to make it so it was all about eating the right amount of food. You didn't want to run out, so you weren't luxurious. But if you did like the medium food, you would live. Yes, Oregon Trail, right? Oh, hello, Darcel. We played a lot of that. There's a bunch of weird games. We get them I think it was at Target. I was originally from Iowa. So we go down there, and they'd have the big floppy disks, and we get those, and they sold them for like special deals. So I think there was like Sierra Company or something weird, like, and it was like a company that did like these really cheesy games. So we got a bunch of them. I played like that. Commodore 64. One of my good friends in school had one of those. That was awesome. PS1. When I was a sophomore in college, I moved to the international floor at my college, and it was so much fun. I loved that. It was one of the best things I ever did. But my boyfriend lived on the boys' international floor, so I would go visit with them all the time. And he had a roommate from Japan, and that dude had the best video game stuff, way better than anybody else had. And so we would play like the Sony. It was like the PlayStation, but it was Sony before PlayStation, and it was amazing. We played the race car games, and I was just like, it was in the future. Oh, it turned into a career. Yes, the Commodore 64. I mean, like, I took programming classes in school because I loved the video games, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it. And then I realized how much work it took, old school programming, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm not gonna do that. Plus, like for okay, I'm not great at math. That's always been the one thing that held me back. If I was better at math, I would love the sciences. I wanted to actually be a doctor for a little while. But if I had been better at math, I think that would open a lot of doors for me. And I love programming. I did a lot of that. My parents taught programming for a little while when we were kids. So I love that. Dreamcast. That's what it was. You're right. Dreamcast. I remember that now. But yes, it was so fun. Like over the years, seeing how video games have evolved, got so much better. I mean, what's going to be next, right? It's going to be awesome. I feel like it, even just talking about it, don't you feel lighter? I love video games. It's like such a great way to like escape the world, and then you get those little pats on the back for achievements. I love getting achievements. I actually some of the games I look up achievements because I'm like, I want to get them all. And when you realize how many times you probably have to play the game to get all the achievements, you gotta play as a rogue, you gotta play as a warrior, you gotta play as a magic user. I'm like, but I want to play the next game. Oh, there's so much to do. Oh my God, Wing Commander was so fun. That was a good one. What was it called? Oh my God. Like I keep thinking it's called Cobra Commando, but that's not right. I played that with my brother Dustin. I'm gonna have to ask him. There's one where we just shoot everything all the time. That was awesome, and you could like have two people play. I miss that. That's something that's kind of gone away. Is there's not a lot of couch combo games where you sit together and play together in the same room. A lot of it's over the internet, and I mean we got like one Xbox and one big TV. Like how is my husband and I gonna play a game together that way? I have to go to a different part of the house and get another TV and another console so we can play together. That just seems crazy. Oh, okay, wait. I see this. Malcolm McDowell. Wait a minute. Mainly do zombies. Oh, Malcolm McDowell was Wing Commander. Wasn't that right? Was it him? I keep thinking that might not have been. Oh, Mark Hamill. Oh, the loading screens. That's what I really like, though, is that they dipped into being cinematic. And I think that's grown. It's grown over the years that they make it more of a full storyline and get into it. If you really want to like cheat on games and you just don't want to play the whole thing, one of the things you can do is go on YouTube and you can look up for full cinematics for some of the let's see. I just had my email pop up. I was going to turn that off so it stopped annoying me. Stop it. There it goes. It's bye-bye. I love that like you can like just get so into the story and you start to fall in love with characters, because I love Geralt of Rivia from Witcher 2. He's my video game boyfriend. And like you watch his stories and you just adore the character and you just like you feel so into the world. It's neat, isn't it? I mean, like there's so much that like that's out there to do. Now, not everybody is into the same kind of game. So like Elder Scrolls, I told you about. One of the kinds of games that I get into that's not a console game. Let's see. Let me share that with you. This one. Okay, this was recommended to me by my friend Laura Lavoie. I like puzzle games too. And what's kind of cool about this, this one's called The Room, and there's a whole series of them. So once you get addicted, don't worry. There's more of them out there. There's puzzle games, and you can play them on the computer. But the best way for me was to play them on my phone, because then I could, like if I got stuck somewhere, I have to wait. I'd have this puzzle game, and sometimes you get stuck. And then you like figure out how to solve the problem, and then you get better at it. And it really makes your brain work. I loved it. I wonder, let me see. I got to the page and I never did look to see if they actually showed what it's like. On the screen here, they show it's usually like puzzle boxes in this, and you figure it out and you look around the room and see if there's something that works with the puzzle box. It's gotten more and more elaborate over the years. It's really detailed and beautiful. They put a lot of thought into it, and there's usually a main storyline in most of these where they talk about how time or space has. I think with The Room it was more like a Cthulhu kind of space kind of thing, and there's also one called. Let me just switch to the tab for that. The House of Da Vinci, and that one is a very similar kind of game, where you're with Leonardo da Vinci, and where did it go? There it is. I didn't see it. I just passed it over with my eyes. Leonardo da Vinci, and you're going through time and trying to solve these problems, and there's some demented stuff in there, and it was so much fun. So they got two of them, House of Da Vinci 1 and 2, and I got addicted to all of those games. So I bought them all and I've played through them all. For me, it is, I try really, really, really hard to not look at the tips on it, but I say the tips are very helpful. A couple of the games I got really stuck. I don't know why it's not going to go. Probably because I'm streaming. But I recommend The Room and House of Da Vinci. Oh my God, you can just play so much. Oh, I'm looking at your list now. Cortana on your video game girlfriend was Cortana. My God, what is his name? On you guys ever remember Mass Effect? That game, my friend Jill's boyfriend is Garrus, the lizard guy. I don't know, he's really interesting. I can see why she liked it. You lost years on EVE Online. I know so many people who've lost years on EVE Online. The spaceship ones can be really addicting. There's another new one that's kind of like EVE, and it's like the worlds keep building out, so it's like endless. You can lose your life in it. Cthulhu. I love the Lovecraft stuff, so that is super fun. Order the movie Dagon. I haven't seen it. I need to watch it. Halo, of course, right? Like beautiful games. I love it when they have good stories. I like that a lot. It's super fun. I could be playing games forever. Honestly, if I lost my job and like I'm on the dole, that's what I'm going to do probably. Just sit at home and play video games with my cats. You know, I love it. Star Citizen. I don't know that one. StarCraft. I know that. There are so many games out there that you can get just so addicted to. It's super fun. I know. The one I'm really looking forward to. So I'm playing Elder Scrolls with Andy lately, and we're having a lot of fun with that. But the one we're both looking forward to, and I'm actually thinking about buying the new Xbox when it comes out, but I want to wait and see how, there's always reviews and things, like it might not be that good and then they have to fix it. So if it's not good, I won't get it. But I have a friend who bought one of the adventure stores. I don't remember if it's for the Nintendo, but like during this COVID stuff, I feel like as long as you're paying your bills, if you've been waiting on something that will make you feel better during like your time that you're gonna get stuck at home, this is it. So I'm thinking, why not get the new Xbox? Especially because what I'm about to tell you, I'm so excited. This is the game that I've been waiting, and they moved it back. I am most excited about. I feel like there should be a drum roll, but I don't have that. Cyberpunk 2077. Oh my God, these are by the creators of Witcher 3. I love it. I'm so excited. I've been looking at it, and like I've been watching preview stuff. You can be somebody from the streets, working on cars. You can be an executive. You can have body modifications. So this is so different than most of the games I play. I play a lot of dragons and magic kind of games with swords and dragons and magic and that stuff. But it looks gritty and beautiful. The stories look really awesome. And like they have Keanu Reeves in it, who is one of my favorite actors of all time. I'd play videos, but every time I try to do that, they bust my ass on they bust my ass on YouTube so bad. But it just looks so great. And like you can make your characters customize everything, like you have weapons and you can get your modifications done. You can go through it and not have any modifications. And there's so it combines all of these elements of games that I really like, like your Grand Theft Auto, your Witcher 3, your your Cyberpunk, your futuristic worlds. I mean, how fun is that? Oh yes. It says if you get a new Xbox, bring a fire suppressant, PS5, and get 2 more full-time jobs. I know I don't have enough money to do it all. I want it though. Why can't I have it? So that's what I'm really looking forward to. I mean, if they lock us down like they did for most of Europe, which is probably coming, I'm planning on playing my life away in video games because why the hell not? It'll be fun. But are there any games that you guys are looking forward to? I mean, it seems like a lot of things have been pushed back, but I know that game's coming out, and it should come out in December because they're pretty good about getting stuff done, but they will release it only when it's pretty much perfect. So I'm hoping that that one's really good. I got a few things of news I was going to cover. We talked earlier about the Ticketmaster. They were exploring. So that's my segue. Ticketmaster was looking at doing COVID testing for concerts and events. So we talked a little bit about this on Sweet Subversives last night. I'm going to shut that down. Stop sharing that one so it doesn't pick my whole stream up. And they had told a few different sites like Billboard, and this, I have an article from Complex, that they were considering making coronavirus test results and vaccination statuses mandatory for concert goers, hoping to see their favorite artist live. And I had a few friends who were blocked on Facebook from sharing that information. Now I've seen it in a couple different places, so I don't know what changed and why this became okay to talk about now. But it is. So the plan was still being ironed out, but the ticketing company will reportedly be using third-party health information like Clear Health Pass and testing vaccination distributors like LabCorp and CVS Minute Clinic to confirm that a customer is tested negative for the coronavirus within the last 24 to 72 hours. So it's pretty much like a medical controlling kind of thing. And that makes me scared. Ticketmaster is such a big outlet for concerts that I'm thinking that if they do that, I wonder if artists will rebel, if venues will rebel against that, or if they can even do it. I can see in my own state our governor making it so it'd be impossible to go to a show without something like that. The underlying thing with that is that its companies are getting rich off of it. That's why it's getting moved forward. They're such big companies. They want to have like a way to make more money. So this is how it's going to happen. I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to force people to get a vaccine that is not tested. The testing for flights are useless. Honestly, their tests aren't good enough to even tell. I really think at this point, just have people wear the masks, or, have people like wash their hands. You're going to get sick. They have amazing air, recirculation systems that like pretty much, it's almost impossible to get really sick on the planes now. They're so clean. They're so good at sucking the air up that I don't even know why this is a thing. But maybe instead of spending all this money on data mining us into oblivion, they just work on really good ventilation systems and cleaning supplies so everything is clean. That probably would take care of it. I just think they've overthought it, and the things that they're doing are going to break the system. What I wanted to say that wasn't said last night is that they actually made a statement from Ticketmaster saying that it was not true. And let me say, because I think there's so much outrage that people freaked out that they are rethinking this whole line of thought. So it's not over yet. The fat lady hasn't sang. So this is what they said. Here's a quote that they told Complex from a spokesperson from Ticketmaster said, "There is absolutely no requirement from Ticketmaster mandating vaccines testing for future events. It will be up to each event organizer to set future requirements based on their preferences and local health guidelines." That takes me back to my Crazy Pants state will probably require it, and then they will put it in place. So they didn't say they're not gonna. They said it's not their policy because they don't want people to boycott Ticketmaster. They want people to pay big money to go to shows, as we do. So that's what that's all about. See how we do on time. I have so much news. What am I gonna do? I think. Oh, and we always talk about TikTok. And, it was banned, and then it was unbanned, and then it's unbanned, and then it's unbanned. But this time, it is once again, the ban was blocked by a judge again, this time thanks to 3 influencers. So they're really trying hard to make sure that TikTok It's not banned by the Trump administration again. So a federal judge in Pennsylvania blocked the government from moving ahead with the restrictions that would effectively shut down the app next month. So we're back in the same place that we were. This time it is TikTok is still suing Trump administration and the Commerce Department that are trying to block its app from being banned. So this ruling actually came from another lawsuit. 3 TikTok creators were concerned that the ban would prevent them from earning a living, which is a valid reason to be worried because the government is trying to shut that down. The short videos created in exchange on TikTok are expressive and informative and analogous to the films, artworks, and photographs and newswire feeds expressly protected under the International Emergency of Economic Powers Act, the judge wrote. So this is not the first time the order has been blocked in court. It's been blocked and it'll block again. So there's a lot of support in the community. I'm trying to figure out, did they say who they were? Okay, here are I don't know TikTok enough, so I'm old and whatever. But Douglas Marland, Cosette Renab, and Alec Chambers are the 3 that have asked that TikTok not be banned. And it's worked again. So we'll keep an eye on that. It'll probably be banned again. The last thing I wanted to talk about, God, I could talk about video games all night. Let's see, the fact that government, I'm just reading it's like the fact that the government is trying to curtail every aspect of our lives is chafing. And that is the truth. They are making it really hard to want to listen to anything they have to say if they take away everything that brings us joy. And if they ban our video games, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be the worst kind of Karen that ever lived. I'll be like, I'm going to talk to all the managers who took my video games away. Not putting up with that shit. So, you remember the Cuties show that everybody flipped out about last month? Was that last month or even September, August? Okay, so they had a trailer about Cuties and then it kept playing and people hate that shit and, because it reminds you that people are attracted to children and it's gross. Supposedly the point of the Cuties show was that it was actually to point out that looking at children that way is gross. So freedom of speech, whatever. But people didn't like the trailer. So Netflix had dozens of takedown requests on Twitter targeting specific posts that criticize movie Cuties. And they actually they sued tweets criticizing the movie and the trailer, which is it's an odd thing that big business is super care. Is it a Catherine? I'm sorry. If all the Karens come together into one, is it like a Mecha Karen or something? Like a Godzilla monster? I think that would be the most awesome thing ever. So people are obsessed with that. So the drastic measures, they had takedown requests. They're still rolling in, even to this day. Seem only to target tweets that describe the film negatively. And although some, so anybody who's against it, they're trying to take it down. So Netflix is going out of its way to actually go against people who don't like their content. So that's pretty weird to me. It's very unusual for Netflix to really care about it because even bad press makes people watch your show. So chill out, Netflix. People hate your show. Some of them might actually watch it just so that way they can realize why they want to hate it. Mecha Karen. I think somebody needs to draw that. Somebody who has more artistic ability than I do needs to go up. Okay, so for not realizing how much I'm going to talk about video games tonight, I have all this news that I'm not going to cover. I had one. Go to American Library Association's Intellectual Freedom website. They do a blog every week where they have a ton of intellectual freedom news highlighted. There's so much good there. They have an article that you must read will be about in Colombia, the Black homeless people were among the first arrested under Colombia's new hate speech law. That's a fascinating, really long article that I'm not going to have time to get into. Michigan voters approve wanting a warrant requirement for electronic data searches. Good for them. We should be doing that all around the country. In international news, France, bookworms are denied their book fix in lockdown. They were not allowed to go to bookstores for a long time. And eventually, people were so outraged that they ended up, and they were trying to tell people to not to buy it on Amazon, but people didn't want to buy it on Amazon. They wanted to go to the bookstores because they didn't want local businesses shut down. And they play a unique role. So they make a book a totally forbidden product because they think it's a carrier of disease. And I work in a library, and so I understand where they're coming from on that, but people need to read during a pandemic. You can't tell them not to. So the last thing that I was going to talk about, please do draw it. Please do draw it. I want to see Mecha Karen. I will share it next time on the show if you do. Send it to me or put it in the comments and somewhere on Liberty Librarian page. I want to see it. The last thing, and I actually went and talked to Kara Schultz, my Burnsville representative. And the news was wrongly reported about it being in Burnsville. It wasn't actually in Burnsville, but in Minnesota, South Metro, more closer to Apple Valley, the police group issued a complaint about a book that was read to students in the South Metro. So they had said they complained to Tim Waltz about a 4th grade assignment in the Rosemont, Apple Valley, Eagan school district. And they had said that it was Burnsville, and then they fixed it. So obviously it was wrong before, but it said the book was called Something Happened in Our Town, a child's story about racial injustice. So pretty cool that they're having kids read about this because it's happening in our neck of the woods. It's actually having riots and stuff. So kids are wondering about what it all means. So the problem with the book was that they thought it was, the good thing about the book was that it aims to answer children's questions about traumatic events and help children identify and counter racial injustice in their own lives. Cool. And the language in the book leaves the impression unchecked that police officers routinely pull over, arrest, and kill Black people without consequences. And this was the complaint. Some of them do. I think it's a good thing to talk about. Why not have a book that might give that impression? And it's a teaching moment. It's a teaching moment in schools that kids can talk about it. Not all cops are bad, but some of them are having bad behavior. And so as a society, we all need to talk about that and why it's happening and why it's happening so often. So there you go. I just think it was really interesting. And it's a best-selling book. So it's one that I do actually think kids should look at. So Something Happened in Our Town, a child's story about racial injustice. I don't see who the author is in this article, which is bad reporting. You need to say that. The dialogue cited a concern by the MPPOA that there is a statement that there are many cops, Black and white, who make good choices. And we share that view. But it is a work of fiction, and sometimes the point is to have kids have a talk about race and equity and how children can be involved in the process. And that's something we all need to talk about. So they say the divisive language that leaves children with false impression that police officers are out to hurt people based on color of their skin is defamatory, wrong, and harms genuine public safety efforts. You know what harms public safety efforts is cops that kill Black people. Okay. So I'm so thrilled that somebody, TLO Minneapolis is going to be drawing some stuff for us, and maybe we'll see the Mecha Karen next time. And I too can become one with Mecha Karen and make my shell hair deflect all sanity and reason in the universe and put a stop to the pandemic single-handedly because I'm going to complain all the way to the top until it goes away. Damn it. Maybe not. So anyway, real talk, Heather. Real. Sorry, guys. I wish I could. I'm not that powerful. But maybe if I was Mecha Karen, I could. We'll see. So send me your favorite video games. Give me ideas of what to play next. I had a lot of fun talking with you guys about it tonight. I really love playing. So after this, I'm probably going to have some dinner and might play some video games later. Hope you have a great evening and a great week and all the good things happen and you stay warm and stay safe and all that stuff that you're supposed to say to everybody. And I really do mean it to you guys. So it's been wonderful. I love getting to hang out with you, and I will see you next Thursday and we will party hard. So have a great week and I love y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.